It is all thanks to him.
Uh,
I get the phone calls saying do this, so I have to do it.
you're a better student than I am.
Okay. So Rupa Goswami defines the first part of devotional practice of Vedic Bhakti as follows. When there is no attachment and no spontaneous loving service to the Lord, and when he is engaged in the service to the Lord simply out of obedience to the order of the spiritual master or in pursuit of the scriptures, such obligated service called Vedic Bhakti. So could you get to know, Chaitanya Prabhu, with this reading that what is talking about? Or
Yeah. Um, basically, there are certain practices that we must do in our lives in order to A, fight Maya, and then B, become closer to Krishna. The practice of performing those things, whether it's the regulative principles or I think now it's going to go into spontaneous love, at first they are going to be difficult and they might be done not out of maybe your own willingness, but once the love becomes true and real, they'll become like your own expression of
mm.
will. So like
So
you'll want
yeah,
to.
correct. So sadhana bhakti process. So basically, the whole process of devotional service is a science. So what Rupa Goswami Padascal is divided the stages. So it's called sadhana bhakti, then bhav bhakti, prema bhakti. The three levels. So sadhana bhakti stage, it one begins when somebody says beginning is basically in sadhana bhakti where he hasn't developed his natural attachment for Krishna. So in sadhana bhakti also there are two stages. It's called Vaidhi sadhana bhakti and Raganuga sadhana bhakti. Okay, and what is Vaidhi sadhana bhakti? Vaidhi sadhana bhakti means when you follow the rules and regulations and methods and everything, which is given by spiritual master, that is called Vaidhi sadhana bhakti. Like Virat was talking about, so somebody is there for us to discipline us. So it's like a Vaidhi sadhana. Sometimes we may not be spontaneously, be doing some things, but we do it because we have respect, for Guru. We have respect for teachers. We have respect for some senior devotees, right? Respect for Vaishnava, respect for the scriptures. So we follow them. It's out of obligation, not obligation. I mean this in a positive sense. Like we feel obliged, out of respect to do those devotional service, do those practices. Like chanting may not be so palatable in very sadhana stage, but we still do chanting. Why we do the chanting? Out of respect, out of obligation to Guru. So that is called Vaidhi Sadhana Bhakti. And what is the outcome of Vaidhi Sadhana Bhakti? When you do it, then gradually you develop attachment for Krishna. And that's how your natural attachment and spontaneous attraction for chanting and devotion service gets awakened. And that's a stage called Raganuga. So Raganuga stage is where you do those still disciplinary activities of chanting, reading, hearing, disciplined way, but you also have begun to develop some kind of taste in that, some kind of attachment, some kind of spontaneous, naturally want to do them like that. Some attachment is developed. So, so it's still like in a preliminary stage. It's not like, but it's still it's a great achievement, like where somebody has developed natural attachment for devotional services like that. So, but still he follows the rules and like still he gets up in the morning 4 a.m. Still he will dress the deities. Still he will, sing the artis. He will still cook. But if he does it all that with attachment for the Lord out of love, that is Raganuga. And then the third stage is called Bhav Bhakti. Bhav Bhakti is further advanced stage, where one has developed ecstatic symptom of love. So one may get different kinds of there are different symptoms of bhava bhakti also described later. And then the highest stage is called love. So prema bhakti. Prema bhakti means there when reaches epitome of prema bhakti, then one can actually get the audience of Krishna, starts getting the visions of Krishna also, like that. So that is a prema bhakti. And there are further stages after prema bhakti, but that's not possible in this body. Only in the spiritual world you can have further. So like that it is. So because the material body cannot sustain it. It is said like that. So anyway, so there are three stages, like that. So right now we are doing Vaidhi Sadhana Bhakti. Why? Because we haven't developed that attachment for Krishna. But the goal of Vaidhi Sadhana Bhakti is to eventually come to the platform of Raganuga and Bhav Bhakti eventually, and then eventually go to the Prema Bhakti also, like that. So how we can go from Vaidhi Sadhana Bhakti to Raganuga and Bhav Bhakti? The way is that we keep doing the Vaidhi Sadhana Bhakti with the desire to attain attachment for Krishna, with the desire to develop taste, with the desire to awaken love for the Lord, keeping that goal in mind. So we do that. We know that, oh, still I'm not running, but let no, oh Lord, please purify me, help me, please help me to awaken my love for you. Let me become attached to you. So like that, we have that desire, that intense desire. So with that prayerful mood, we keep doing our Vaidhi sadhana. Go ahead further. So see what he's saying is there is no attachment or no spontaneous service to the Lord, and one is engaged in service to the Lord simply out of obedience. And obedience is possible only when there is respect. You respect and you're aware of the glory of devotional service, the glory of the spiritual master, the glory of this wonderful process, what chanting, reading, and everything. So you have a deep respect. So because of faith and respect, you do it, even though right now we may not be in the stage where we have developed spontaneous love and attachment. Like that. Yes. Like for example, for a boy to just talk to a girl or get along with her. It's very natural in a conditioned state. Somebody who's lusty, he can easily get into that. I mean, it is not required that he has to, somehow Vaidhi sadhana. He's having natural attachment. You understand? No? So Srila Rupa Goswami Path says this example. He says that example that I will show you the verse. No? So give this example actually. It says. युवती नाम युवती युवती नाम यथा यूनम like that युवती नाम see this one युवती नाम यथा यूनम 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 याचा युवतौ यथा नमोभिरामते तद्वन् मनोमय रमणाम त्वयि. What he says, as the minds of the young girls take pleasure in thinking of a young boy, and those of young boys take pleasure in thinking of a young girl, may my mind take pleasure in you, O Lord. He's telling him that. So he's giving a very mundane example. But why he's explaining like this? Because just to help the person understand that how one can develop spontaneous love for the Lord gradually. So he doesn't need to consciously exert himself to become close to Krishna or think of him to, render service to him. So he's giving some kind of material example for that. As the minds of young girls take pleasure in young boys, can you allow my mind to take pleasure in you alone? Like that. They're saying that Yuvati means young girl, the Yuva means boy. So he's expressing desire. My dear Lord, as young boy has got natural affection for young girl has not. Spontaneously, it is not to be taught or to be educated in the schools and colleges. Nobody teaches. Of course, nowadays people have been trying to teach also. Teach means train in the wrong way sometimes. So spontaneously, it is not to be taught, but spontaneously the attraction is there. How my attraction for you will be like that, spontaneous. It is a very nice example. You're getting this point, no? So this example he gives. So going back to the cloud devotion. Yeah. So you can see, so he's giving this example. Okay, I've got it here. So obedience means respect. So at least we have to begin with respect. And that's how we begin, right? We develop some appreciation for some devotees, for the scriptures, or for scriptures and devotees and acharyas like that. When we develop some respect, then we want to follow. Correct. Even though we have not come to that platform of spontaneous attachment, but we want to follow the rules and regulations. Okay, go ahead further.
These principles of Vaidhi Bhakti are also described in the Srimad Bhagavatam, 2nd canto, 1st chapter, verse 5, where Sukadeva Goswami instructs the dying Maharaja Parikshit as to his course of action. Maharaja Parikshit met Sukdev Goswami just a week before his death, and the king was perplexed as to what should be done before he was to pass on. Many other sages also arrived there, but none could give him the proper direction. Sukdev Goswami, however, gave this direction to him as follows: My dear king, if you want to be fearless in meeting your death next week, for actually everyone is afraid at the point of death, then you must immediately begin the process of hearing and chanting and remembering God. If one can chant and hear Hare Krishna and always remember Lord Krishna, then he is sure to become fearless of death, which may come at any moment.
Recently,
In the statement,
recently I was thinking about this point about death. I was a little bit trying to think about it. I was saying to another devotee also that how it is very difficult for us to think that I'll be out of body. Actually, you keep getting the news, no? Somebody left the body. You know, how many of you often hear this news? Somebody has left the body. You
Yeah,
hear?
very often.
Very often you hear. But the point is that just think about it, Prabhu. Like we leave the body right now. It's leaving the body. So actually, somehow I think many things we hear and read, but sometimes we don't too much, deeply think about it. So that's why there's some people who what they do, they of course that's not like we have to do that always, but the point is there are some people just to get some detachment from this body, they go to Shamshan Ghat and all, and they meditate on burning of the bodies. There are people like that, no, they do that sometimes. No? So why this kind of sometimes contemplation is required, because see, we have to also be very much conscious of the temporary nature of our existence. Is very important, because the more we are consciously thinking about the temporary nature of this existence, our everything, like right now you're think about it, whatever you are very much dear to you, say your body and your certain practices to keep the body fit, let's say gym, or say you're going to start some new company, so your clients and your strategy, some things are very dear to you, or you're going for say marriage, then you're very much into searching a match, or you're going for, I mean, these kind of situations of life are is so much occupying, the person forgets that it's all very temporary, very very temporary actually, and so actually I think it requires some kind of conscious contemplation on the temporary nature of this. And that's why scriptures do talk about it a lot. That's why once by just by reading the scriptures, one will think about it also. That's why it is one of the good thing about scriptures, reading scriptures, not just reading scriptures. Because normally people don't reflect on it. But just by reading scriptures, you can come across certain like this. That's why he says also, Chanak Pandit says, I think he says, Smaran Nitya Anityada. No? Always remember the Smaran Nitya. Nitya means always. Always remember Anitya, the temporary nature of this existence. That how these things are temporary. That can make you sober. Hmm. And then you will think about what is going to, be there with me eternally. And that is the holy name of the Lord. Cultivating God consciousness. That's a real filter. Imagine now if I die, next body where I'll get. I think today only I was thinking, yesterday I was thinking in front of Lord, I was thinking that if I die now, and I have only one person who's there to take me in the next body, who knows where I have to go and God. Is he right here, Krishna? He only will pick my soul and put in wherever he knows exactly. He's going to take care. So ultimately, he is the most important person for my life, because he only is the what to say, game changer. You can say, he's the main game changer for everything, right? So he is the person actually. And why should I just worry about any other factor? I have to just depend on him. And you have to just give my life to him, because he is the main person for me. You understand? No? Like if you know in your company who is the most crucial person, who can demote you, promote you, give, then you just want to see that this fellow is happy with me. That's all. You're not concerned about the pew, you're not concerned about so many things. Not in a materialistic way. We don't approach Krishna that way. But I'm saying, in our real self-interest, who can actually truly help us is only Krishna. There's nobody else in this world. All these temporary fellows will just be there around. You will gone tomorrow, like that. All the sense gratificatory objects will be there today, gone tomorrow. All the situations of life, comfort, there today, gone tomorrow. Not like that. Recently, I got the news that one of my cousin died. So he was like my grandfather's brother's son's son. So died. So I was shocked, right? He must be young. He must be younger to me. And he died. So then I was thinking his body must be there, and we have seen in childhood together and all that. So now he's gone. So now where he's gone? So now these things we don't think about it. But Prabhu, it's a reality, I mean, now also I can die. It's a reality. Think about it. Today I can die. It's a reality. So we don't think properly. We don't think sufficiently. And that's why we remain mad, maddened state. And we take this temporary situation so seriously. Now I have this, tomorrow I'll have that, then day after next year this, that. Nothing wrong in doing planning and having strategy and all that, but we should do all that in renounced spirit, understanding that anything, and what I plan and when I think of, in this temporary existence has no meaning actually. I can do it, but the real essence of my life is to actually grow in my Krishna consciousness. That's the only thing. Otherwise, so many endeavors, so many people take, and just people die. So we should know that actually that's the only value. So I'll show you a nice PPT. You'll like it. And then we'll end it. See this. Yes. You're able to see? See this one.
Yeah.
This one. If you see this PPT, bro, what it says, in life, we are doing a lot of activities, right? But if there is no value to that activity, and what is the real value? Krishna consciousness, right? And there is another thing called pleasure. So many times, there are four kinds of activities we may do. So ideal state is what? If you are fortunate, you find pleasure in that activity and you have value also. There are many activities in Krishna consciousness you find pleasure. Can you think of some activities where your mind also is very happy with?
I love kirtan and dancing.
Yeah, and nobody will deny prasadam.
Yeah, that.
It's like pleasure also you get, but it's completely, it's very much complete alignment with the real purpose of life because it helps us to awaken our love for Krishna. Correct? So that is ideal thing, ideal state. When your activities, I mean, you're fortunate, ideal in the sense you look for it and it is wonderful. So you read prasadam and you make advancement also. Wonderful. Same way, dance in Hare Krishna Sankirtan, and this is the highest Yuga Dharma also. Amazing. You go for a retreat, it's pleasurable, and you learn a lot of lessons. Wonderful. So it's meaning also, and it's good, nice. So it's like ideal state. So this is how we should present Krishna consciousness, to people. But the fact of the matter is that it's not always going to be pleasant when they have to do day by day. So they should eventually also understand the quadrant two, the difficult duty, unpleasant, like tough studies, but intelligence accept for future benefit. So now daily chanting. So in the beginning, it's good to come with pleasure and value both. We find value and you find pleasure. Krishna consciousness, good. We take it. But then when you do it, when you have to do consistently, then you have to pay the price. So because always mind will not like it too. For mind, it may not always appear like pleasure. Okay, once, okay, twice, okay. Something new mind finds, okay, no problem, happy. But same thing you have to do. Sometimes mind may not be happy. Mind may want something else now. But unpleasant may be there. Mind may find unpleasant, but still we do it because it has value. Getting now? And the third quadrant is that, sorry, the third quadrant, third quadrant, where, no, not third quadrant, I mean the fourth quadrant. Third quadrant I will discuss that. Fourth quadrant is empty gratification. So that means there is only pleasure, but there is no value to it. Any Krishna conscious activity doesn't have much value. Think about this kind of activities in your life. What all activities you do, it's just because you like it, but doesn't have any Krishna conscious value. You know. So let's say somebody is gossiping, somebody is watching movies, or reading some kind of sports magazine. It doesn't have any value. Doesn't give you any Krishna conscious value actually. So it's empty some gratification, enjoyable but lacks deeper purpose or long-term growth. Correct. And the third quadrant, this is something, like there is no pleasure, there is no value also. So this is how sometimes some fellows who want to commit suicide they face this kind of situation. They find any activity they do, they don't find pleasure. Like hippies, they were completely, because this same activity, after some time, the same activity is not giving that kind of kick to them, and there's no value also to it. So this kind of fellows, they become depressed fellows. Like that it is. You getting this point? So why I'm showing this? Because what I was saying that in our life also, we have to actually find value. It's very important. So when we are living in this world, if you are not living a life of value, and if you are only simply preoccupied, just going for some kind of comfort for the body, pleasure of the mind, different levels, sensuous, mental, ego state, on physical platform, mental platform. So when you're only looking for that without trying to find the value of Krishna consciousness, that's not. So then we actually may not be rightly situated. So surely we have to have value in our life. We have to be above. That means the first and second quadrant only. That is what we should be. Either it is pleasurable to mind and has value, or it may not be pleasant to mind, but still we do it because it is having value. That's how we should live in our life. So that's why I'm saying. So then you must immediately begin the process of hearing and chanting. But that's the real value. And remembering God, correct? So you want to be fearless in meeting your death. Then you should live life of value. Then only can be fearless, because this value is eternal. This value of Krishna consciousness is eternal. So that's why one should give priority to Krishna consciousness. So if one can chant and hear Krishna and always remember Lord Krishna, then he's sure to become fearless of it. To become at any moment, because you live life with value. That is not a big deal for you. Okay, I'll pause here, Prabhu. So I have what time. Any reflection, quick reflection?
You want to go first, Virat Prabhu?
Oh, no, Prabhuji, you can go first.
Sure. Reminded me how I'm still attached to my material desires, the point on depth, how it can happen at any time, and just every action that you take should still be with the thought of Krishna at the head of it, and then everything will be fine. But yeah, I think every day it's material desires first and then Krishna second now. And that's maybe not even second, third, fourth, like whatever comes first, like first, second, and third. That's I think it's one thing that I realized. But I think you're absolutely right. Like it can come at any time, and what will it be for? But yeah, that's my reflection.
Virat Prabhu?
Mm. My reflection was I was just reflecting about the PowerPoint slide you showed on like difficult duties and ideal states. And the difficult duties are like I think they can be described as austerities, and then the austerities are required to get deeper into Krishna consciousness, and it's appropriate to sacrifice material sense gratification for a much higher purpose. So it may feel like a difficult duty or initially perceived as unpleasant, but as the PowerPoint said, when you use your intelligence, then you see that there's a future benefit in the Krishna consciousness activity you carry out. And then I think that difficult duty slowly turns into an ideal state itself. So something that may feel difficult initially, that you have to really use your intelligence, or you need like your mentors or your gurus to really help and guide you and push you to do it, slowly becomes an ideal state. Like you find pleasure in doing that activity, which initially you may have found difficult to do, and then you get aligned to it. And empty gratification, like the more sense gratification I see and observe in the world, I see that it's very empty. Like I reflect that a lot of the gratification that I see people do is very empty and lacks a lot of purpose. And I think that's why they are maybe generally unhappy or have anxiety, because they don't have their own identity. They're lacking it because they're doing activities which lack purpose.
Correct. That's why now we should live life for value and purpose and meaning, which even Westerners, I mean, Westerners also, they talk about it, meaning. So, but they don't get to understand the long-term meaning. The long-term meaning is only what Krishna consciousness gives you, eternal meaning to your life. So instead of pleasure-driven life, one should seek value-driven life for long-term things. That is truly lasting happiness you get, right? Satisfaction, content you get. But if we struggle, no? We just get for immediate pleasures. We become more pleasure-centric in this world. So, but the real pleasure-centric means to go for value. If you really want true pleasure in life, truly want to become happy, truly content. Because as you said, empty gratification. That means, yes, you go for pleasure, but you get nothing out of it. And you become complete drained out. And no content. That's why the world is not happy in today's world, because people are just going for empty gratification. That's what's happening to me. You know, I see people not happy. Can make it out. Talk to them, can understand it. But they have been doing so many things. They are into so many things. They have money, they have so many things, but not happy. No content. You can see that. Mine is restless, no, because empty gratification. Thank you. Punamata, you want to share any point?
I just want to say that if you are in the shelter of lotus feet of Supreme Lord, hearing and chanting the Hare Katha and do the chanting, then you can face all the problems in your life, and slowly you become Krishna conscious. That's it.
Very good point. Yes. Yes, correct. So that's a real value. Real value is Krishna consciousness. Always think that. We don't have to figure it out. What is the value? What is the meaning? It's very clear for us. So that's why we have to keep this anchor fixed. Daily time for chanting should be fixed. I was thinking, I have reading fixed. I have chanting fixed. I have morning program fixed. But sometimes I think hearing lectures sometimes, it goes little up down. I mean, I hear, like just like before class, I was hearing lecture. Going, coming, my spiritual master lecture, I'm here. But I want to make it fixed time. I was thinking, like, non-negotiable. A little challenging for me, because many things if you fix, then there is no, I need some flexible hours also. But I feel sometimes, I should fix that also. Like daily shavanam of Prabhupada this much and all, and my spiritual master this much. Some point of time, maybe I'll do it. I'm just looking for some time where I can fix it, because my day becomes very dynamic. But yeah, but still I'm trying to hear here and there. I keep hearing. I try to hear whenever I could. I'm trying. But I lack. I know I lack. I should be improving. It's not like very regular also. So same way we should, we should actually know that this is our life. What is it? Life-saving jacket. Yes, this is actually our real shelter. So we have to plan consciously. As Vadi Sadhaka means, is consciously follows these rules and regulations and methods to get the shelter of the Lord. That's why we should plan our life in a way that we have time for chanting, we have time for reading, we have time for classes. And you keep it, Prabhu, day by day you see you blossom. Because like you're getting that nectar, every day you're getting nectar, drop by drop by drop by drop by. Like I have this B12, doctor gave me this B12. So I forget many times. I kept on the table only now. Always on my table. When I see when some point of time, when any day I see, I say, okay, I didn't eat today. And I feel like taking it. So now I'm able to take it almost every day. But for many times it was just lying. It's lying in my cupboard and I'm not taking it. So the same way we have to make our environment, or consciously we have to help ourselves to take our daily dose. Otherwise, medicine is there, chanting is there, everything is there. We know a lot. I also know, doctor told me you should take B12 and all, about B12 is very low and this and that. But I was not taking it, even after becoming aware also. Because we get carried away. So we have to help ourselves with some way, what will work. We have to consciously think, how can I make myself very pakka in my chanting, whatever, for 5 rounds, 10 rounds, 16 rounds, or reading Prabhupada books, attending lectures. So keep that as a priority. And for other things, we don't have to do much about them. These things we anyway get carried away. Like for eating prasadam, for doing our work, these things nobody has to push us. We are motivated. But for those things, we don't have so much attraction of spontaneous attachment, though we have knowledge and we want to. So we have to consciously make some kind of schedule or some fixity. We have to push ourselves consciously. It's required for us. Then we make some good progress. And we can expand. Otherwise, time will go. Like my time, 3 months over, but hardly this medicine got over. And hardly my B12 will get increased then. The time will not wait for us. Time and tide waits for no one. So time will pass, but you fill your life with Krishna. Put some schedule for Krishna. So that way, at least you're getting some dose. It doesn't take much effort. See, for me, how much time? Time is not the main thing. Main thing is that I have to be conscious. Same way, we'll get time, but we have to be just conscious. We have to prioritize. Then we'll be able to chant. We'll get a lot of time for doing so much of Krishna consciousness. This priority is required. Okay, so let's pause here.
Yeah.
So, when are
Hare
you
Krishna,
coming?
Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. When are you coming, Chaitanya?
Hare Krishna.
Sorry?
When are you coming here to temple?
Again? Maybe not this weekend, but next weekend.
Yeah.
Sure. That's
You're in Boston next weekend?
I'm in Boston still, yeah. I think
Okay.
might stay here for the near term. Still.
Okay.
But yeah.
You're there for
Okay.
Sunday? Sunday you're there?
Sunday I'll be here for the Ramayana class, yeah.
Okay.
Okay, I'll see you then.
Sure, Prabhu.
Yep. Okay then. Hare Krishna.